we're going to take a look at a week in the life of a liberal activist.
Stand with Ukraine! No more war! Freedom! Give Venezuela back their dictator!
We want the boss man! BLM forever!
Raise that fist! Black Lives Matter! Louder, people! We see you! We love you!
Keep it moving, flags high!
Trans rights matter! Gun control now!
Say it loud, save lives! Outlaw guns!
Protect our kids!
Keep marching, keep shouting!
Crush ICE! No more terror! Down with fascists!
Louder!
Freedom to defend! Keep marching! Keep shouting! My body! My choice! Women's rights are human rights! Orange man bad! Down with the orange!
Don't they have anything better to do with their time? Yeah. What they need to do is get jobs. I'm crashing out! I'm crashing out! I'm crashing out! I'm crashing out! And
Good morning, Patriots. What's wrong with my camera? Oh, it's all over the place. I forgot. So yesterday, well, that's the wrong button. So yesterday, sorry, what was going on? Let's see. This one. There we go. Let's make the screen. Right after I got done with my show, and it was actually pretty good timing because it was like right after the power went out. I mean, so my habit is to go take care of things that I got to take care of, and then go sit down in my chair during the day, right? Have lunch, whatever I'm doing. Sit down in my chair and then go through my phone to start show prep for the next day. And I'm sitting there going through my phone, starting show prep for the next day, and all of a sudden the power kicks back on. See, because I go through the house, turn all the lights off. I don't turn the TV on. I don't turn the radio on. I don't turn nothing on. Just quiet, and I start going through and preparing. And I didn't even realize the power was out till like the heater kicked on, the refrigerator kicked on, the ice machine kicked on, everything room came back on. I was like, oh, and then I looked down and the little clock that we have there under the television is flashing, doop, 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 and I hear all my computers in here kick back on. Oh, that's probably what happened to my camera. It readjusted. Sometimes you got to get maladjusted. And I didn't even realize it was out of adjustment, so we just went live. Anyways, fun times. Oh, this is the Patriot Mike Show coming to you live on all the channels. I'm on YouTube and Facebook and all that. Let's see if we can get kicked off today. Oh, comment section. Somebody asked a question right at the beginning of the show. I noticed when it came on, it says, Mike, what do you think of Julie Green's most powerful word I've ever heard today? Well, I don't follow her like every time that much. From time to time, when somebody points something out, I'll go watch her. I think that when she gives a word from the Lord, I think it is from the Lord. However, where she fails, in my opinion, now this is just my opinion of what God's told me. You gotta understand, sometimes God will tell you to do something, and if you don't do it, that would be classified as a sin. But he doesn't necessarily tell everybody else to do it. Therefore, it's not a sin for everybody else. So, I'm just thinking. I'm just pointing out what God has told me, and that is, don't try to interpret these things. And there's a lot of these prophets, and I think they are hearing from God because God is moving at this time in a mighty way, and he tells his prophets, like when Ezekiel was having, I got to go in and set all my color settings too. You can see that I'm a little, it keeps, it's reacting too much. I got to turn the sensitivity down. You see that the camera is reacting too much. Anyways, I got to go reset all my settings. But like with Ezekiel, when he was like, oh, there's nobody left but me. And God said, no, there's 7,000. It hasn't bowed to Baal. So he tells he tells his prophets. Now, those of you that go to them sensationist churches that doesn't happen anymore. Show me that in the Bible. Well, the perfect has come. What's the perfect? Well, the Bible. Which version? It's the King James version. Which version? Yeah. So, anyways, no, I believe God still moves. God is the same yesterday and today and forever, and none of that's going to change until Christ returns. So there you go. So that all to say, I haven't watched it yet, so I don't have an opinion on it. But I will watch it sometime this weekend. How about that? Because there's a Rusty Johnson Auctioneers is having an auction at the Knights of Columbus Hall here in Central Missouri, or 11 o'clock ish, and I think I'm going to run out there and see what's going on, say hi to everybody, and who knows, might even bid on something. So, anyways, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. And the word of the day, as presented by Marine in the Woods, given by the Lord, is Ezekiel 20:10-32. That's Ezekiel 20:10-32. Make sure you crack open the Bible, see what God has for you today. Here is, as we get started today, I got lots to talk about, including the Babylon Bee bringing tomorrow's headlines today as best they can in the form of satire. And here we go. Progressive researchers claim they are 15 to 20 years away from finding out what a woman is. U.S. progressive researchers working with the American Civil Liberties Union, or ACLU, because that's where all the scientists are at, said they are only a mere 15 to 20 years away from finding out what a woman is. We're very close, said Dr. Nina Ringleford, a medical doctor and biology expert. We've studied hundreds of human bodies and cross-referenced those findings with what people feel, and we're confident we will be able to provide an accurate definition of what a woman is in just 15 years, 20 max. Researchers said they have left no stone unturned in their experiments and denying to look up the definition of women in the dictionary, even denying, excuse me. Well, this is obviously wrong, one researcher said after examining a Webster dictionary. We've got our work cut out for us, boys. I mean, girls. I mean, whatever. In an effort to maintain professional neutrality, the ACLU made sure to recruit one scientist from each and every one of the 437 known genders. The team was then sequestered to avoid recent potential discussion on the matter so that they could focus on what really matters, their feelings. I mean, we might not be close, but I feel we're very close. And that means something, Dr. Zingling, I don't know, a Chinese research assistant on loan from the People's Republic of China. I hope so anyway. I really want to go home. At publishing time, researchers had asked for an extension on their project, an additional $5 billion in grant money to support their works. Of course. They only need $25 billion. They're only asking for $5 billion, Mike. Come on. A billionaire and a billionaire. Who knows? Because nobody knows. I mean, there's no way to tell. I suppose you can get your DNA and whatever, but there's really no way to look at somebody. Just impossible to look at somebody and tell whether or not they are transients. You or a man or a woman or a man. How do you tell the difference? They're so similar in every way. For example, here's a protester, unrelated story, a protester who lost his eye because ICE shot it out with a paintball full of pepper spray.
Well, can you tell us about your injuries now and the prognosis? Will you be blind in that eye for life?
One question. All right, we're going to talk about the poor feller here that lost his eye, its eye. But before we do, I'm gonna count down the 10 seconds or so delay, and I just want to say, is this the boy or is this the girl? Is this the boy or is this the girl? So here we go. Doom, 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 ba-doom, 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 doom, 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 boom, boom. So here it is. The question is, what is a boy or a girl? And the answer is,
from what I've heard the doctors say and everyone else, yes, I will be blind for life. They said my globe was ruptured. I had my lower lid was cut up, and they had to take skin from my temple to fix it. There's a lot to it. I don't remember all the things that they said. I have fractures in my skull that they can't fix, and I can't sneeze or cough because it's dangerous too. I remember also when I shot, there was pepper in it, and I had pepper down my throat. It made it hard to breathe for a long time. They pulled a piece of plastic the size of a nickel out of my eye. They said I had shards of metal, glass, and plastic all throughout my eye and behind my eye and in my skull. And they also said that I had a piece of shrapnel metal about a few millimeters away from my carotid artery. And they said it was a miracle I survived, because if it got any closer, if it hit that, I would have died that night.
Totally blind right now? You see nothing out of the eye?
Nothing out of this eye. Yeah, it's black.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. It's terrible. This poor feller effed around, or feller as a generic term, like, hey, you guys, metal shrapnel from a pepper ball. Yeah, well, you know when you don't know, right? Well, here's the incident. It didn't happen. They were saying it was from Minnesota, but it's not. It's from California a few weeks back, obviously, because there's palm trees in the background. But it doesn't matter. It's the same. Here is the incident as this person. Well, here you go. You could see it. Yeah. I'd probably be on the ground like that too, covering my eye, crying if I got hit in the eye with a pepper ball. I'm just saying. Not upset with that guy, a girl, or cat, or whatever his name is. Her name, I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there because, well, so you can see, I'm just saying, I'd probably be on the ground crying too. I'm just, pow, right in the eye, right in the old vision socket from about, I don't know, a foot and a half away. But then again, as the saying goes, do dumb stuff, get dumb stuff. Don't go charging into the gunfire. I mean, that's a bad idea.
The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. The more you fuck around.
I mean, it's not, he's not wrong. So anyways, this old boy decided to, or old gal, or Pat, or whatever, just to stick it all out there. And, well, but somebody fixed the situation. They fixed the situation for this person.
And you never fuck around, you'll never find out. The more you fuck around.
That's right. It's still playing in the background. But there you go. Fixed it, ladies and gentlemen. It's fixed. And she, he, it, where, they, them, whatever. It's getting, I am grateful. I am grateful. Thank you, the Lord, that I was born in 1971. and that I met my current wife in the mid 2000s before things got really confusing. Because if I was a kid today looking for a spouse, I mean, you'd have to go through like a DNA test, check your chromosomes and all this stuff, just to make sure that you could find a real woman. I mean, nobody knows what a woman is, but nobody knows what a woman is. But the search for one is definitely more challenging now that we know. Anyways, I still don't know if that's a dude or a dudette. It's hard to tell. Nobody knows. Maybe the Babylon Bee will get it figured out. I don't know. In other news, I don't know if you've seen this, but ladies and gentlemen, there's everybody that's a Tina Peters fan. If you don't know the story, Tina Peters was a clerk in a county in Colorado right after the election, where state law and federal law says you have to maintain federal elections for like 18 to 22 months, depending on the state. And she was ordered to delete all of the information on the Dominion voting machines, but she preserved that information. So Mike says a Crocodile Dundee testicle test. The problem with that is people could have had to cut a dick off of me. How do you know? Anyway, she preserved that information. She was charged and sent into prison for like 9 or 10 years, and she's in her 70s. So it's basically a death sentence. Donald Trump has pardoned her, but there's a constitutional deal that it's a state level crime. But there's a appeals court hearing going on right now, and it's not looking good for the state. Appeals court judge seems skeptical of sentence for pro-Trump Colorado clerk Tina Peters. It says, while judges on the panel expressed little sympathy for the arguments from lawyers for former county clerk Tina Peters, they also grilled state lawyers. Judges were particularly critical of claims that Peters should be held accountable for spreading election conspiracies in 2020. The court cannot punish her for her First Amendment rights, appeals court Craig Welling said. Peters used another person's security badge to allow her former surfer, I think it's supposed to be staffer, Conan Hayes, to watch a software update of their county's election management system, which, by the way, that software update was against the law. Prosecutors said he made copies of the system's hard drive before and after the upgrade, and partially redacted Social Security, security passwords later turned up online. Hayes was not charged with any wrongdoing. I wonder who squealed on her. Anyways, so this is going on right now. Let me pull that off the screen for a second, because I've got video of the hearing where the judges are kind of flabbergasted, for lack of a better term, at what in the world was going on with this trial. Let me just play it for you right here.
Is it your position that a person can still be convicted of a crime with which they were never charged and with which the jury was never instructed, as long as the evidence is sufficient?
Yes, I think that is what the case law indicates, that if it's just in this case, I'll just point out too that, I don't have the language of the statutes that you're citing in your hypothetical, but it was one word, might, and it was already,
but that one word distinguishes it from a felony to a misdemeanor. True. And this case made an extra sentence, 15 more months in the Department of Corrections, that couldn't have been given had it been a misdemeanor conviction. It clearly affects a substantial right. And I'll just say, I'm confused as to why the people are continuing to maintain that the proper remedy on this isn't to enter the conviction for the misdemeanor, because the indictment used the word might, and the jury was instructed on that. So that's what the verdict is. I am baffled as to the position that's being taken, that we can somehow overlook that and still enter the felony because the evidence that was presented at trial would have supported the felony. Are you still maintaining that position in front of us here today?
Yes, that is our position.
What case law supports that argument?
I'm sorry.
What case law supports that argument?
I've cited it in my brief. I don't have it right in front of me, but
it's the omitted elements
Yes,
case
correct.
law, right?
Mhm.
But that's just where the element was omitted, and but the element that was omitted wasn't in dispute. Here, the jury was affirmatively misinstructed. It was instructed on the misdemeanor, and it found her guilty of that misdemeanor beyond a reasonable doubt. This isn't the omission of an element. This is a misinstructed jury. How can we correct that by saying, no, we'll just assume that because she could have also been convicted of the felony, we enter that even though we don't have a jury verdict? That's a...
I understand it's a difficult position
Okay.
for the people to be in. But
It's not a position you have to take.
But thank you. But I do believe that the omitted element language applies because to me, I understand, I can hear from the way you're talking about it, it seems more egregious to add this extra word than it is to omit an element. But to me, omitting an element is a pretty big deal. And the fact that can be
Except
not
in those
reversible.
cases, at least the person was originally charged with the elemental language. Here, never on the table.
That is true. But if I can just add, and again, it seems that I will not be able to convince you, but I just want to put my argument out there, which is that there wasn't a confusion from the parties about what they were talking about, because the correct statutory citation was used. So they were on notice of the statutory citation. The language was incorrect, but the statutory citation was correct.
Couldn't that also mean that the prosecution was on notice that they'd only charged, since the language was correct, they'd only charged that language and not, both of them were on notice of something wrong.
Oh, yes. I guess what I'm saying, Your Honor, is just that there wasn't a notice problem because there was the statutory citation, and the parties treated it as though, I think it was an oversight. I think everybody believed that if they had charged and used the language that's what the record bears out, in my estimation.
So they kind of sort of messed up the whole thing. Kind of sort of maybe. They charged her with a misdemeanor and convicted her of a felony. What this is called is they can file for a mistrial now. Whether they'll get it, I don't know, but they can say, hey, I was unfairly prosecuted. And this is like if it was a fair court, this would be a get out of jail free card. But we're not talking about fair. We're talking about politics. And this may be, by the way, these same courts already heard all this stuff. This may be them trying to get out from under the thumb of Trump because, well, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. All right. We're going to switch subjects now. We'll see how that goes in the very near future. So we know they're protesting, right? The women are out there protesting, and they're getting crazier by the minute. There's theories out there that most of these protesters are late 20s, early 30s. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock women who don't have children or don't have custody of their children. So they've got this mom gene like every other woman does. And when they start getting, 35 years old, they start realizing time is running out. And so they're trying to find someone to love. I think there's a song about that. And so they're loving on these criminals. And they're standing up like Mama Bear to protect these criminals. And they're absolutely insane. When I say insane, Let me just introduce you to insane, and we'll go over it. We'll talk about it. Here we go.
I just feel like as white people, we gotta step the fuck up. Yesterday, 10 years ago, 10 years before that, 10 years before that, 10 years before that. Just, our fucking neighbors are at risk, and we need to be in the streets every fucking day. If it's not you today, and you take a break, somebody else get them out there, take their place. We gotta do this in waves. We gotta protect ourselves. We gotta protect our neighbors. But it's time for white people to step the fuck up. They've been sleeping.
And it's been wild to watch. I've only been on the ground here for 2 days now and watch the community organize in such a quick way. Obviously, you guys been doing for weeks and months. And what has it been like to see the community of Minneapolis really come together?
It's about time. It's about time because people of color have been screaming about this for, we can't even count the years of how long.
Okay. What she said was crazy enough, but typical leftist BS mumbo jumbo. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But let me point something out here. Let me talk about this. Let's just take a look at Karen here, and I just want to point something. First of all, you've got a do-rag here. I think it's a towel. I think it's like she took the towel off of her stove. The hand towel that you get that all the women put on this. Men don't care, but the women put on the handle for the stove, right? And then she's got her Lowe's cheap safety goggles, right? That you go down the Lowe's, you can buy in a package of 3. And then she's got her painter's mask on. Now, I don't know. I've never tried. Now, I've been in the gas chamber with basic training, and every year when I was in the Army, we had to go recertify. You put your mask on, you go in the gas chamber, you stand there. We didn't have the new kind of stuff. We had the older stuff, but breathing through your gas. And then the sergeant says, "Take a deep breath. Take off your mask." Right? And then you get the effects of the tear gas and the snot running down to the ground and all that you get, right? I don't know that a painter mask works for that or not. Does it? I don't know. I haven't tried it. A dish towel. Yes, there you go. But that's not the most craziest thing that I see here. Let me make it bigger so that you can see what I'm seeing. She's got armor on, and it looks like the broiler out of her oven. It's the broiler pan. Her armor is the broiler pan. I mean, come on, man. That's not going to work. I guess it might a little bit. She's got zip ties and string tied to her broiler pan. It says ice out on it with duct tape, pink duct tape. I'm just saying. These people are insane. This is insanity. She likes kitchen. Well, she's coming out of the kitchen, right? You got 2 choices in life, ladies. I'm talking to the young ladies. The older ladies, you set in your ways. I'm talking to the young ladies. You go on TikTok and you see the trad wives, right? They want to stay home. They want to make sandwiches for their husband. They want to take care of the house and make babies and whatnot. So you got the trad life, and then you got the Karens. The Karens just, instead of staying home and taking care of the house and making babies and taking care of their husbands, their wives come with them, and they take the appliances from the house that they're not using because they don't know how to use them, and using them as armor in their protests. I'm just saying, this is insanity beyond insanity. This is insanity on all levels. So Jesse Waters, he pointed some of this out. Not particular her. That's just That's me. That's me right there. I caught that. That's all me. But Jesse Waters, he did a little deal about the Karens. He calls them kamikaze Karens. And here, well, let me just put it on the screen and I'll let him speak for himself.
Wake up, babe. Kamikaze Karens are back.
Good for you. Good for you. Don't move.
Put your hands in your pocket. Put your hands in your pocket.
You gotta move. Get out of the way.
I don't post.
And the media is drooling. Quote, this is what democracy looks like. Moms in cars, armed with nothing but iPhones and a clear view of right and wrong. The cavalry is here to save us, and she's driving a minivan. Public service announcement. If you love your mom, don't let her turn into an ICE stalker. Moms with minivans are training like a militia, but not anybody can join. First, you have to pass a battery of psychological tests. You must hate men.
You know, one thing that hating men has trained me for is literally trained me for chasing ICE cars off of my street. 5 of them right now. Following them down the neighborhood, honking, blowing whistles, telling them to off. All that rage that I have felt towards men is coming out. I have been trained for this moment.
I'm coming
Phase
out.
2 gets a bit more physical. It's time to shred, not the weight. We love women in all shapes and sizes. You need to shed your whiteness.
In order to dismantle white supremacy, we have to be willing to lose the benefits of whiteness. Means they kill us too. That's what that means. And it's time for some radical acceptance about that, guys. That's what it's going to take to dismantle white supremacy, is losing the benefits of the system. So we can't be so shocked as white people continue to die.
White women need to die to dismantle white supremacy? That's one way to do it. Step 3, body and mind. Push your body to the breaking point and let your body be a barrier.
There's times where I'm scared, but I'll still approach a vehicle. Like, it doesn't stop me or any of us from showing up, and actually not only showing up, but putting ourselves in a position of just like almost like a barrier between them trying to get vulnerable people who don't speak the language fluently.
And when you get thirsty, no water, especially not with ice. Instead, sip on a nice tall cup of F ice cold brew. Sounds aggressive, right? It's not. It's all love.
She died because she chose love and solidarity over fear, and we will make sure the world never forgets her name.
It's a tragedy she died, but love was not the cause of death. Women shouldn't be getting in between armed agents and foreign fugitives. It's like driving a car in front of a SWAT team serving a search warrant. Someone's going to get hurt. Women are not designed for violence or danger. These are manhunts with guns and armored cars. And the illegals have nothing to lose. If they get caught, they know it's over. And these illegals have shown they will break the law and they will hurt you. ICE agents are getting assaulted and rammed by illegals and now women. Women who are not professional drivers and not athletes. From what we've seen, they're clumsy and reckless and have no sense of danger. And all these politicians are basically trafficking them. Women are crossing state lines, getting used and getting hurt. And Democrats are making money from it. They're fundraising off it. They're using women as human shields to hold the country hostage. Tampon just addressed the nation and said this.
You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution.
Wow. Corolla, he's got a better idea.
They essentially create chaos and then say they don't want chaos. So it's essentially tons of chaos saying we don't want chaos and then saying, don't you want the chaos to stop? And I'm like, yeah, I'd like the chaos to stop, but the answer isn't abolish ICE. The answer is you keep your fat ass at home.
Well, yeah, that goes back to the F around and find out. If you stay down here, you're never going to F around, so you're never going to find out. I mean, it's an easy solution. The problem is that's all political. We all know it's political. It's political. It's racist. It's the whole. You fill in the blank. Whatever you want it to be, that's what it is. I mean, that's what they do anyway. They single out a crazy Karen miscreant like the one in question here, Miss Good with an E, who isn't all that good. In fact, there's only one that was ever good. But I digress. And they say, this is the cause, this is the hill we'll die on. But as this fella right here points out, there's others they could die on, other hills they could die on, but they choose not to die on those hills.
So, for those of you that don't know, this is Dakara Thompson. She was killed by a man named Hugo Hernandez Mendez, someone who was in this country illegally. My question is this: why is nobody talking about it? Why isn't Jasmine Crockett crying on the floor of Congress over this young black woman? Or better yet, why haven't any of you pro-blacks talked about this? You're talking about Renee Nicole Good. Why are you not talking about this? Why are you so quiet?
Right? This young lady was killed by an illegal immigrant, but because her skin, well, no, it has nothing to do with her skin. Because it was an illegal immigrant that killed her. Well, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that. You see, this just shows that these people don't care about brown and black skinned people like they say. That's their chant, right? No, they care about red on the inside people. Their skin color, the slant of their eyes, their type of hair that they have, the type of clothes that they wear, their position in life doesn't matter as long as they're red on the inside, as in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic or the CCP or Venezuela or Cuba, wherever else communism, godless despot communism exists. That's what they want. You see, this woman who was shot was a commie. Yeah. But Mike, no, she's not. Yeah, she was. Let's see. She doesn't believe in capitalism. She doesn't believe in where do you get this information from, Mike? Her Facebook posts. She doesn't believe that you should own property. It should be for everybody to share. She doesn't believe you should have to pay for food. She doesn't believe that you should have to go to work, as most good communists do, until the communists take over, and then they're forced to go work in the salt mines. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The funny thing is, stuff just doesn't happen. Somebody in a communist system has to be a slave, and it's usually you. It's usually you. Yeah, this pretty young black woman killed. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Doesn't fit the script, so we don't care. Here's a story. I was going to run this story yesterday, and I didn't get to it, but I wanted to talk about it today. This is not the story. This is not the story we're looking for. I thought it was, and evidently it has changed. Let me see if I can still find it, or I can just talk about it. Oh, here it is right here. Here's the story. Maybe. So, So here is, they've changed the article to an Instagram post. So I'll just put it up with the sound off and I'll talk over it. So Oprah Winfrey a few years ago has teamed up with Weight Watchers and started pushing I can't say it. I'm on the other channels today, so I can't really say it. The weight loss pokey doke, right? That everybody was taking. We've talked about it before. And she decided she was going to do that, and she lost a ton of weight. She went and stood at all the places that the celebrities go stand to do something, and she lost a lot of weight. But here this November, December, she got off the Marine says fat drug. She got off the fat drug here this December. And she immediately started putting on weight. She said, I ate right. I did everything we could. And I was just putting on weight. She said, I've just realized that some people are just going to be fat. Some people just have the fat gene, she says. Well, let me tell you something. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4". I was this time last year 314 pounds. I'm a big guy. My brothers are big guys. My dad was a big guy. My uncles were big guys. My grandparents were big guys. Everybody is big in my family. We're all 6 foot tall and we're all big. So I hear what she's saying. I hear what she's saying. Genetics has a lot to do with it. I get a kick out of the 20-somethings. This is how you are healthy. You know what makes you healthy? Being 20-something. But I have to say this, Oprah's going around pushing her pokey doke for fatness, saying that there's just nothing you can do about it. Because she's already sold her soul to the devil. So what difference does it make if she sells her soul to the big pharma? What difference does it make, right? So her and Weight Watchers teamed up to push this stuff. I'm sure she's making a ton of money. But once she got off of it, and I've seen this over and over again, immediately people start putting on weight. And here's the thing, there's side effects. There's all kinds of nasty little how they do it, the fine print. At the end of the commercial, they say, consult your doctor. And then they start saying, if you have anal butt bleeding and eye bleeding and typhoid and tetanus and skin rash, irritants and death, consult your doctor. There's another way. There's another way. And so that's what I wanted to just mention this morning, that I'm down 30 pounds. I weighed myself the other day and I was 182. Excuse me, that's wrong. 282. I'll never be 182 again. Yeah. I haven't been that weight since I was 14. Anal seepage, right. However, but I've been taking this right here, the chocolate sauce makes your pants fall off, and it's changed my life. I'm down, like I said, I'm down to 282 from 315, taking this. And the other product that I took, and I don't have an example of it here, is the Body, and I can't say the words, but it's the PEP stuff designed to help you lose weight. And those two products have caused me to continue to lose weight without exercise. I want to exercise so bad. I do. I want to start running again so bad. And I was thinking the other day, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, like at the end of Trading Places. Feeling good, right at the end there. I'm feeling good. However, the next day I wasn't so much feeling good. And that just has to go with the Gulf War syndrome and the other stuff. You guessed my weight exactly, 182. Yeah, but I'm probably 2 foot taller than you? Anyways. Marine says he's taking the Snow Collagen. That's another product that helps with the snap, to crack, the creaking, and the pop. That helps me with the Gulf War syndrome. But it's still there, still exists. Now, here is what I'm saying to you. Hit that text or that email right there. Use the emails the best, PatriotMikeShow@gmail.com. Send me a message. I'll send you a link to get this product right here. and it's just a spoonful a day, chases that belly fat away. That's why I call it the chocolate sauce makes your pants fall off. It has what they call Morocell blood orange extract, which is a name brand product that we've added to it so I can use their name. And it's clinically proven that everybody who takes that product, greater than 90% of the people that take the Morocell blood extract lose weight. And I can testify. I'm down. I've had to put a new notch in my belt. This ring right here that I've never been able to wear. Never been able to wear. It was always wouldn't go on my finger. Now goes on my finger, and I'm like not wearing it because I'm afraid it's going to fall off. That's how much weight I've lost. And if you don't believe me, ask my wife, because she's been wanting me to wear that ring forever. In fact, I've lost so much weight that I had a black carbon fiber ring that was a size 15. This is a size 13. And it fell right out. It fell right off. I mean, I looked at my hand one day and it wasn't there anymore. I'm just saying, it works. So give it a try. And you're more than welcome to message me. We'll talk about it. I can look, there's no obligation to buy. I can get you right in there. You can see what's in it. You can ask your doctor whatever you want to do. All right. So just wanted to talk about that. When I saw that Oprah Winfrey thing, I'm like, there's a better way. You don't have to worry about all the side effects, if you know what I mean. The side effects are not positive at all. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. So stay away from the drugs. Say ugh to drugs and try the chocolate sauce makes your pants fall off. Just saying. It's a whole lot better that way. Then there's this story. January 6th, they had their January 6th committee that was all about it has collagen in it. Yes, ma'am. Tina's asking if it has collagen in it. Yes, it has collagen in it. Yep, that's one of the ingredients. It has collagen. It has the snow mushroom and all of the good effects from that. And it has the Morocell black or red, orange, or whatever it is, extract. So so they had the January 6th panel, right? And that was just to get Trump. Well, there's a new January 6th panel, and they're starting off with a bang. Here we go. This is the January 6th panel yesterday or the day before yesterday.
I know it's been a long time, but remember Ray Epps. Let me introduce you again to Ray Epps. Play the video.
To the Capitol! Hang on! Into the Capitol! We are going to the Capitol, where our problems are. It's that direction. Please spread the word.
All right, no, Dave, but one more thing.
Yeah, so can we go up there? No?
When we go in,
are we going to get arrested if we go up there?
Yeah, you don't need to get shot.
The night of January 5th, he is filmed yelling at the crowd that they are going to go into the Capitol, and again on the day in question. He is filmed at the front of the crowd, at the barricades, just before the initial breach. He whispers something into the ear of the guy next to him, and that guy initiates the breach. Then later at 2:43 p.m., a red flare goes up. 2:45 p.m., red smoke pops, and at 2:46, Ray Epps is in video being extracted from the crowd of an eight-man team, even though he was allegedly alone that day. Play that clip.
Every three-letter guy I know that was at January 6th, we all saw the same things happening. We all knew that this was an operation.
Watch the footage on top of the Capitol, and if you fast forward it and watch it, you really do see movement of individuals You just see them moving through the crowd. The red smoke pops, and when Epps starts to leave, he's got 4 people in front of him and 4 people behind him, and they literally get him the hell out of there. They go behind the media and then just disappear. They said he was there by himself or with his nephew also. They got separated. You know, if he was there by himself, then why are 4 guys leading him out and 4 guys following? It's plain to see. It's obvious.
Now, despite Epps' actions on that day, and despite him being number 16 on the January 6th Most Wanted page for months, his name is mentioned 0 times in that 840-page document. 0.
They mentioned him 0 times. The question is going to be, so here we are with a new January 6th panel. The first thing they're talking about is Ray Epps. Ray Epps with a 8-man team. I hadn't seen that before. An 8-man team, huh? Very interesting. So keep an eye on that as things start to happen, and things are going to start happening. Things are already starting to happen, regardless of what the idiots in the Patriot blogosphere say. Nothing's ever happening. Nothing's ever going to happen. No. God's in control. Watch what happens. By the way, speaking of stuff happening, this is kind of tabloid, but okay. Senator accused of steamy affair with her bodyguard in bombshell lawsuit from his wife. Well, here we go. Let's just talk about ex-senator who resigned has been accused of having an affair with her bodyguard in a lawsuit filed by distraught wife and former staffer, Christian Simina, 49, who represented Arizona in the U.S. Senate from 2019 to 2025, first as a Democrat, then as an independent, is accused of intentional malicious interference in a 14-year marriage of Matthew and Heather Amelie, whatever. Heather, a mother of 3, alleges that Sinema embarked on an affair with her Special Forces veteran husband shortly after he was hired to her security team in 2022. Sinema, how do you say her name? And her bodyguard frequently traveled together on work trips across the country and internationally, where the suit alleges the senator would invite him to her hotel room. The bisexual senator the bisexual senator, hadn't heard that one before, asked him to bring the party drug MDMA, also known as ecstasy, with him ahead of one of the work trips in 2023 so that she could guide him through a psychedelic experience, the suit alleges. You know, guiding people, putting all that together right there. Is some sort of ritual going on here? The duo also allegedly messaged about having sex missionary style with the lights on, something Sinema said was boring. Heather is suing her for damages of $25,000 under the unique North Carolina law that allows for a plaintiff to sue for alienation of affection via wrongful and malicious conduct, for example, an affair. Their travels included concerts such as U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, Green Day in Washington, D.C., and Taylor Swift in Miami. Hamill, who also accompanied the senator who was known to wear bright outfits on Capitol Hill, to a foreign trip to Saudi Arabia. She asked him to remove his wedding ring so it wouldn't look like she was putting her hands on a married man when they were out at concerts, the lawsuit claims. During former President Joe Biden's 2024 State of the Union address, she told him that she was skipping it as she didn't need to listen to some old man. when he messaged her about wanting to start a F the troops. Now, this was a former military guy chant at a Pennsylvania baseball game. She responded she would F the hot ones. The suit also notes that Sinema purchased a Tirgan electric massager for Amel and texted him for him to bring it over to the apartment so she could work on his back. She has pictures of herself wrapped in a towel, or sends pictures of herself wrapped in a towel. October 24, soon after he returned home to North Carolina, the senator texted, I miss you, putting my hand on your heart. I'll see you soon. Heather responded to the message stating, are you having an affair with my husband? You took a married man away from his family? Anyways, yeah, get the point. You know, ladies, men, whatever, when one is having an affair, yes, you could, hell has no fury, like a woman scorned, and she's going after the woman who, being bisexual probably complicates the marriage. Well, it doesn't complicate the marriage. It complicates the relationship because it's this former senator who's bisexual. You know, like the what are they called? Trebles, like the trebles, bisexual, reproducing at will. Trouble with trebles. Anybody Star Trek nerd around here? Anyways, it's good times. Good times. So here's a little bit more on the NED stuff. We talked about the National Endowment for Democracy. It says 81 Republicans just voted to fund NED. So did every single Democrat. If Republicans voted to block like Democrats, NED would be defunded now. But the blocker, as I've said many times, is not the Democrats. If it was, all these things could be fixed. The blob inside the GOP is that NED got you censored, deplatformed, demonetized, and even conspired with foreign governments to force American platforms to take you down. Instead of indicting NED, the National Endowment for Democracy, Republicans just gave them the biggest budget ever, tied with what Biden gave them in 2024. Can you explain why on earth any member of the GOP in their right mind would vote for such a thing? Anything at all other than we get kickbacks and support from NED, so we should fund it. Well, I'll give you one. They're not Republicans. They are infiltrators. What other possible explanation can there be other than corruption of the GOP? Data Republica responds to that and says, I got a text from someone I won't name who is close to one of the no votes. Apparently, GOP leadership pressurized to vote. No, now the no vote is a yes vote because it was, anyways, the way their stupid procedures work. But because they didn't want to walk back on a spending bill and didn't want another shutdown. So the Republican leadership was scared of a shutdown, so they put all this stuff in there so the Democrats would vote for it. It's a bunch of garbage, mumbo jumbo, standard operating procedure. This is why I keep saying that sooner rather than later, probably by the end of this year, that you will not have enough people in Congress to hold a quorum because of all of this crap that they've been pulling. Because of all of the crap that they've been pulling. Speaking of crap they're pulling, I wonder how many of these politicians are getting kickbacks from the Somalians. Have you considered that? Have you considered how many of them are actually getting paid by the Somalians? because there's some more information coming out. Here is a News Nation report on the money, just the money going through the airports.
What have you found?
Hi, Elizabeth. So a retired naval intelligence officer says he tracked hundreds of millions of dollars flowing from fake Minneapolis daycares through suitcases at Minneapolis Airport to Somalia, straight to the terror group Al-Shabaab. Philip Parrish was part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force in 2016. He connected the dots to U.S. designated terror fronts. His ignored warnings tonight raised new questions about fraud and taxpayer dollars.
In 2016, we were already tracking that it was adding up to hundreds of millions of dollars. And that was just what we were tracking then.
In 2016, Philip Parrish, then a lieutenant in the Navy, was ordered to join the Joint Terrorism Task Force and follow the flow of money to terror groups in Africa and the Middle East. Then he found an alarming tie to the U.S.
There's an interesting pattern here happening where the money's coming out of Minneapolis International Airport. Well, where is it coming from? Are they getting it in Minneapolis? Where is it coming from? Well, that led to then some research about a list of fake companies. Well, it's all cash that's coming out of these fake daycares and/or daycares with inflated numbers.
Parrish connected the dots for military operations abroad. How much money?
Hundreds of millions. You know, when you're talking suitcases of evidence reports, of suspicious activity reports from banking, TSA reports from the airport, and then the military side of the house tracking who it got to, you're talking about tens of thousands, $300,000, $500,000, all these different varying amounts daily. The open source material will tell you every other week out of Terminal 2. But it was daily.
In 2016, 2017, you were with JTTF, and in your professional, opinion and experience, the money that you saw leaving Minneapolis Airport, the hundreds of millions of dollars, was that ending up in the hands of terrorists?
Yes.
No doubt about it.
Direct portions of it were ending up in the hands of terrorists, absolutely. All the way from pirate boats being bought to essentially the administration of a terrorist network administratively.
Parrish said they tracked the money couriers to the Netherlands, then to Nairobi, Kenya, then straight into Mogadishu, into money exchanges called hawalas, the same exchanges that the Department of Treasury had already designated in 2012 as fronts for the terror group Al-Shabaab. And while the military depended on his reports, he says the public has largely ignored them.
Hundreds of men and women like me know the truth. It's been the truth all along. We don't know why we've been ignored, other than thieving and grifting, a culture of thieving and grifting that was intentional, no matter how it started.
Parrish retired from the Navy in 2019 as a lieutenant commander. He's now running for governor here as a Republican. He lays most of the blame, he says, on what he calls the Democratic establishment here, but he's clear. He says politicians on both sides of the aisle, Elizabeth, were well aware of this for years.
So there's a comment in the comment section that rang a bell with me and reminded me of something I wanted to say. So it says, line item veto would be awesome. Yes, it would. But this is a setup. You see, somebody else was saying veto this in the comment section. This is a setup. This is a setup to take out Trump. You see, Trump is now caught in a quandary. They think they got Trump here. Because if this bill passes with the Ned stuff in it, right? That's what we're talking about, backing up a subject. And Donald Trump signs it, then he's funding Ned, which is the apparatus used for the color revolution in his country. If he vetoes it because the Ned's in it, the media and the Democrats and the Mitch McConnell Thomas Massey Republicans will start going, oh, Donald Trump, he's shutting down the government. He's shutting down. Oh, my God, we can't shut down the government. Oh, knee jerk. That's what they're trying to set up. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's going to be so much that happens between now and the end of January when the shutdown happens. It's like 2 weeks away. I think there's so much more coming. This money, you're thinking to yourself, I was listening to Glenn Beck yesterday. He's talking about this. He said he tried to get $10,000 cash to go do something. I don't know. And he's a wealthy man. And it said it took him 4 weeks to get it out of the bank. He had to fill out all this paperwork for the government and all this stuff. It took him 4 weeks to get his money, $10,000 cash. He said the bank first said, we don't have $10,000 cash here. We have to get it from the Federal Reserve. They don't have any money. Massey presents single issue bills. Whatever. Massey is the biggest hypocrite other than Rand Paul in the Republican Party. Just saying. I'm just saying. He'll be the one with Rand Paul screaming and hollering, the government shut down. It's all Donald Trump's fault. Mark my words. Thomas Massey is Ted Cruz with bigger cojones. He puts single issue bills. He puts bills out that he knows never has a hope of passing ever, just to get things stirred up. So one of the things that Glenn Beck talked about was, how are they getting suitcases and duffel bags full of hundreds, if not millions, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars through the airport? How is it that a guy can have a briefcase with $100,000 in it and run it to the airport? They'll run it through the scanner. They'll say, oh, there's money in there. Oh, you're Somalian? No problem. Go on. Well, Glenn Beck points out at the airport, the ground crews, the TSA agents, the security, the baggage handlers are all Somalian. That's how it works. Just think about that. This thing's way, way bigger. Here's some more from Jesse Waters.
And not everyone's excited.
Get out.
Sir, I'm just asking a simple question.
Get out. No, you don't ask me any question. Get out.
You have the opportunity to answer
No. You can't ask me nothing. Get out. Get out. I'll listen, man. Get out. Get out, man. Get out.
Sir,
get out.
just answer the question.
No.
Just answer
Get
the
out.
question.
No, get out. Leave.
Sir, just answer the simple question.
Hey, don't touch me. You touch me. You're YouTube, man. Get out.
Calm down. You're not being accused of fraud. Shirley's just asking questions. It's not just daycares we're worried about. Primetime's digging into something even bigger. Hundreds of millions of dollars quietly moving through Minneapolis, heading straight to the Middle East. Homeland Security sources tell Primetime $700 million in cash was flown out of the Minneapolis airport in just the last 2 years, stuffed into luggage. That's 100 times more cash than what was moved out of JFK, Atlanta, and Dallas. To put it into perspective, Atlanta is the busiest airport in the United States. Minneapolis, 17th, with a quarter of the flights. Yet 100 times the cash is leaving the country. And it's not just Minneapolis. Investigators following the money trail backward, and they found another hub in Columbus, Ohio. Officers tracked $136 million in cash leaving the Columbus airport in 2023 alone. You know who lives in Columbus? Somalis. Lots of them. They have the second largest Somalian community in America, second to Minneapolis, of course. Interesting coincidence. But this isn't anything new. Agents have been tracking this as far back as 2017.
It's the morning of March 15th. We're chasing a tip about a man who's leaving the country. Our sources tell us he just took a carry-on bag through security that was packed with $1 million cash. You can do that as long as you fill out one of these government forms. We're told these cloak and dagger-like scenarios now happen almost weekly at MSP International. In 2015, investigators documented 14 million in carry-on cash. By 2016, it had mushroomed to 84 million, and then last year, 100 million.
So where's the cash headed? It could be going to terrorists.
Kearns tracked millions of dollars in cash that was leaving on flights from Seattle. It was coming from hawalas, businesses used to courier money to countries that have no official banking system. Some immigrant communities rely on hawalas to send funds to help impoverished relatives back home. Kearns discovered some of the money was being funneled to a hawala in a region of Somalia that's controlled by the Al-Shabaab terrorist group.
So I talked to a couple sources and who had lived in that region, and I said, if money is going to this hawala, do you think it's going to Al-Shabaab? And he said, oh, definitely. That area is controlled by Al-Shabaab, and they control the hawala there.
Money's been flying out of Minneapolis for years. Fozia Ali pled guilty to daycare fraud in 2018, and the money she stole went international.
The business was suspected of billing the government for over $1 million worth of bogus child care services.
Did any of the money go overseas?
We are aware that some of the funds went overseas, which she was cashing out money from the business.
She'd taken a 2-month trip from Minnesota to Dubai and then Kenya, staying at times in $800 a night hotel rooms. She used an app on her phone to bill the state of Minnesota for child care services while she was out of the country.
Minnesota's had a dirty little secret for decades, and now the whole world knows.
If they had $700 million to send back to Somalia, if that's true, where's that coming from? That's an insane amount of money to send back to Somalia.
But this is also the gall. You're stealing welfare money and you're taking it out of the country, and you are so in the belief that you won't get caught. You're not smuggling it out. You're putting on the form, I'm taking $20 million out of the country.
They've been doing it for decades. And this is, I mean, when did we start mass immigrating people from Somalia into this country?
$700 million from here to there. No arrests, no charges. Has there ever even been an investigation? Tampon's more focused on protecting bad hombres than taxpayers. If terrorists get their hands on that money and target American soldiers, the blood's on Timmy's hands.
Already did.
He doesn't want anybody recording Somali fraud. He wants you to record ICE. Who's trying to stop it? That's suspicious and makes me think Tampon could be in on it. Can he be that dumb?
It's not dumb. Understand, Donald Trump shall be a trumpet to trumpet the evil that's in this government. Prior to Donald Trump, this was happening. We've known all along that we've been being raped by the world. We've known all along. Over and over and over and over and over and over again, we've known all along that this has been happening. We didn't know the depths of it. We didn't know the angles of it, but every single government operation that sends money somewhere is completely compromised, and all of that money is gone. It's gone. My computer's acting weird. Hopefully we're not losing the interwebs. Yeah. I was wanting to go to a different one here, and it's not letting me go. That's weird. I'm even refreshing it. Come on, man. Let's try it this way. It's almost as if it's being blocked. Don't want me talking about this sort of thing, do you? If this doesn't work, I'll go somewhere else. Yep. Is X not working right now? Because I was going to bring you an article. I guess I won't bring you the article because it appears to not be working. A lot of times when I reset my little box for the internet, it'll fix this problem. But I can't reset my box for the internet right now because I'm live with y'all. But for some reason, it's not loading. Try it. Nope. Let's try it over here. Let's try it over here and see what happens. I got like 4 web browsers up. Yep, not some reason, either my internet, but see, my internet's working because I'm talking to you. So maybe there's something going on with X. I don't know. But I can't. Yep, connection timed out. I can't access it. So, well, darn the luck. We'll skip that. That was Data Republican, where she breaks down where a lot of this money is going and where a lot of the money is coming from. But it's a pretty good article. It's on my Telegram page. You can go find it. t.me/PatriotMike Thoughts. And we'll see. Telegram seems to be working just fine, and StreamYard seems to be working just fine. So we will punt and see. 13 is where I need to be. All right. So you have all this fraud going on, and we've got the Minneapolis mayor as he points a finger. So the X is not working for you too. It must be down. Okay. So it's not me, it's you. Oh, yes. That's what my first wife told me. She loved married men, just not the men she was married to. Anyways, moving on. Here is the Minneapolis mayor.
Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear. Imagine if your daily routines were disrupted. The local cafe that you eat at was shut down because they're scared that their own family might get torn apart. Imagine if schools shut down and suddenly parents got to figure out what to do for daycare.
Imagine if your town was invaded by a bunch of foreigners who don't believe in your culture, don't believe in your God, and they just start taking over your neighborhoods, taking over your schools, taking over your airports, taking over your daycare centers. Imagine they just start finding every which way that they can defraud the people of America, and they implement it with their 67 IQs. Imagine. He totally proves the point of why we need ICE there. Totally proves it.
Caught up with.
Here's a little bit more. Democrats are threatening to shut down the government because they want to abolish ICE. ICE, baby.
Caught up with some of them on Capitol Hill, including Congressman Benny Thompson, the top-ranked Democrat on the House Homeland Security Committee. And Bill asked him if he's for abolishment or accountability.
At this point, it's accountability.
I'm not for abolishing ICE.
Should ICE be abolished, Senator? Will you
I have lots of problems with ICE.
Should it be abolished?
Thank you.
Do you believe ICE should be abolished?
Same answer that I just gave to that question earlier in this press conference.
So Jeffries refused a yes or no answer there. He's mostly focused on how ICE funding did not go through the usual appropriations process in Congress. Harris.
Rich, thank you very much.
Well, tarred and feather, that's in their name. What does ICE stand for? that will tell you. A target defender says, what will ICE do once all the illegals are deported? What's in their name? What does it say? Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They will enforce laws on immigration and customs. It's weird. That's like what they do. Got all these Democrat politicians, though, that want to get rid of. We don't need any immigration and customs enforcement. Do you know that at the ports, when a big container ship comes in with thousands of them big containers on it, that they search those containers, one out of about every 1,000 containers? Maybe these excess custom and enforcement people can go to the ports and enforce customs and stuff. Here's a lady who is from around the Minneapolis area, out in the suburbs, and this is what she has to say about ICE in her neighborhood.
You know, I love the fucking suburb I'm in. So ICE was just in my suburb at our local grocery store while I was there, and they were grabbing somebody. Nobody in the grocery store stopped them from doing their job. Everybody was clapping and excited about ICE being there. People are hooting and hollering, you know, chanting for ICE. You gotta love small towns in Minnesota, honestly. We are so fucking stoked. And honestly, you know what I did after the ICE agents got done with their job and what they were doing? I said, can I buy you all, you know, like something to drink, something to eat? And I did. And I sure fucking did, because you know what? I'm excited that ICE is in Minnesota. Really excited. I'm not going to tell you the suburb I'm in, but it's close to Stillwater. We'll just leave it at that. Best thing I've seen today is watching an ICE agent arrest somebody and send them back to where they came from. Love it. Super happy about it. Love the suburb I live in, because there was no protesting. Nobody stopped them. Nobody did. Because no one gives a shit. We want them done.
Yep. I agree. Love it. If they were in my neighborhood, I'd be like, yeah, buddy. I got another article where they're going after a fire department because when they tried to chase down this illegal alien, he ran up on the roof of a house and they couldn't get him down, so they called the fire department, brought the ladder. Well, now they're all pissed off at the fire department. How dare you help law enforcement? Retards. Heck yeah.
Yeah, look, what Jacob...
We don't have a ladder truck here in the Lamont Fire Department, but we would help.
White House.
We would definitely help. Here is the White House's response to Tim Walz' appeal. This is the White House's response to Tim Walz.
The White House has now responded. Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, and Democrat leaders in Minnesota have done nothing but turn up the temperature, smear heroic ICE officers, and incite violence against them, all in the defense of criminal illegal aliens. In Minnesota, ICE has arrested rapists, drug traffickers, domestic abusers, and more, despite the Democratic opposition. The Trump administration will protect the American people and enforce the law without apology. Quick response. A lot to say. Your reaction. First reaction here on the Faulkner Focus. Clay Travis.
They're 100% right. And Harris, you remember this. In 2020, when we demonized police, what happened? Murder skyrocketed across the entire country, and we didn't let good law enforcement officers do their job. Now, Minnesota, Fry, Walz, they are deciding to demonize ICE officers. They're making them targets, and they are going to increase the overall level of violence in this country. I think President Trump has to step up aggressively, say, we're not going to do this. Remember what happened in L.A.? He sent in all the forces, and everything stopped in L.A. We got to do it in Minneapolis, too. It's out of control.
Here is a question. Marine says this. Some of the biggest problems incoming to U.S. is weapons. He's talking about at the ports. Aaron earlier said 1% of the containers are checked. So here's the deal. So you got 100 containers. You're shipping 100 containers, 1%'s checked. That means 1 out of 100. And you fill it full of toys, say to speak, for adults to rebel rouse. Put 2 containers. They find if they happen to pick one of your containers, the other one will get through. It's that simple. I mean, pretty easy. So Caroline Levant destroys this reporter, this left-wing hack reporter. She just nails him.
Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Nunn spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 U.S. citizens were detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist. And it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
Well, she got a little fiery. It turns out, Gutfeld points out, let me see if I can find it. Gutfeld points out that guy isn't even American. He comes from Britain. He's a British journalist. Turns out, we don't care. What are you doing? I think he should be removed. I think he definitely should be removed from the press corps. By the way, they're doing that. Put another streamer in there. Let me find the Gutfeld where he said that, because he makes a pretty good point, and I want him to say it in his own words. So this is nope. I want him to say it in his own words. I'm pretty sure I have it. Please tell me I have it. Somebody, I don't have it. Of course I don't have it. Wouldn't have it any other way than not have it, right? Oh, whatever. We'll move on from that one. So since we're going to move on from that one, here is Tim Walz and Donald Trump.
Donald Trump intends for it to get worse. This week, he went online to promise that, quote, the day of retribution and reckoning is coming. That's a direct threat against the people of this.
It's something like that. Something like that. It's all good. Here is the sheriff, Washington State Sheriff, warning to Democrats. He's in a hearing and Senate Law and Justice hearing, and he lets the Democrats have it. There's some good folks out there in Washington State, just like every other state, that have been compromised by these commo fascists.
Pass this qualification bill for law enforcement, but you won't hold yourselves accountable. Therefore, I propose everyone who runs for an elected office go through a background check, a social media review, a polygraph, a psychological test. But Democrats, you won't agree to that because you have convicted felons who are elected officials here. I represent almost 1 million people, more than all of you combined here. Many more people. I wasn't elected chief of police. Being sheriff of Pierce County is much more than police work. Citizens reach out to me all the time regarding overreach of the government by you. Some say they finally have a voice because of me, and you want to silence it because I said transgender women are men. I said the truth. You want to give unelected bureaucracy the ability to decertify me and remove me from office because you don't agree with my speech. Just for the record, my deputies don't wear masks, but once you pass this law that they can't, I will not only allow them, but I will encourage them to do so just to see what you do. I don't recognize your authority to impose these controls over me. And when you try to remove me from office, thousands of Pierce County residents will surround the county city building in downtown Tacoma and will not allow that to happen. I hope it doesn't come to that, but I and they are prepared. Are you prepared? Finally, anyone who votes for this will never have an audience with this sheriff.
Thank you. Could I have you identify yourself for the record? I'm sorry, that is not what we do at public hearings, and you will be asked to be removed if that continues.
I'm sorry, that's not why we do public hearings. You remove the sheriff. I mean, that's just not. That's not a good look for you. I'm just saying. You go ahead and remove the sheriff. That'll work out just well. That'll be good for you. I'm just saying. Then there's this story. This is out of Florida. This is out of Florida. A man spots a known pedo with a kid and calls law enforcement.
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
This traffic stop of Darnell Hairston, a registered sex offender who deputies allege had a 15-year-old and a missing 11-year-old in his truck, ended with Hairston facing charges, as well as the 15-year-old who's accused of taking off in the truck, ramming a cruiser and crashing.
Vehicle's upside down on the wood line.
These arrests might not have happened, and that missing child might not have been found if it weren't for this 911 call.
591, where's the location of your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. There's a child pedophile with 2 kids in his truck. One's a runaway.
Where are you at, sir?
He's coming down US 1. His name's Darnell.
A caller who knew Hairston and knew he is a registered sex offender just happened to see him on the road. He dialed 911 after spotting him with what looked like 2 underage boys in the car.
How do you know this person?
He's our neighborhood child pedophile, and there's 2 missing kids that's run away from out there, and he's got 2 teenage boys in the back of his truck.
The caller followed the truck down US 1.
You don't have to continue following.
Oh, no, I'm following until I see a cop pull his over because he's got 2 kids in his car. Because if a cop don't pull him over, I'm going to pull him over, and it ain't going to be pretty.
Deputies ultimately found the truck and after a bit of a struggle, had Hairston in handcuffs.
Who's got my truck? Who got my truck?
All right, I appreciate it. Law enforcement stopped the vehicle.
Yeah, they got him. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, that dude's a hero. And the kid was saved. Longer story, they tricked this kid to going out into the woods and meeting the 15-year-old for some apparent reason. I don't remember in the article what it said, and they kidnapped him. The 15-year-old was in on it. So good on them. That worked out well. I'm glad that it did. All's well that ends well, and I love a happy ending when the criminal gets his comeuppance. Would have been better, like if you got in a fight with the police and the police had to, put him down. That would have been better. Just saying. Los Angeles. By the way, how many of these Somalians are smuggling money out of LAX? That's a question in my mind. Los Angeles.
All right, you guys. So I had to actually get my way in here because the numbers weren't working to be paged in. But look at what this is uncovering. Hospice, home health care, Allegiance Home Health, Honeywell Home Health, Wellspring Home Health, Golden Touch Home Health, Amazing Health, Dignity Care Hospice, Moonlight Hospice Incorporated, Thousand Oaks Hospice Incorporated, Premier Home Care Agency, Altruistic Hospice Incorporated, Capital Hospice Care Incorporated. Some of those don't even have signs on their doors, and the ones that did weren't answering or had a Ring camera. There were 2 people that were actually in the office. They gave me brochures and numbers, so we're gonna find out what's going on. And I walked 7 more feet, and what do we have? Sheltering Arms Hospice Care, absolutely ridiculous. CareView Hospice Care. Dude, another building with several agencies.
So here is out in LA a building with all, let me tell you something. Every single government agency that hands out money, transportation, healthcare, daycare, senior care, all of them are compromised. All of them. You know, we spent $8 trillion, $8.5 trillion 2024. Same thing in 2025. We're going to find out that about $6 trillion of that is nothing but 100% pure D fraud. These people have figured out how to do it, and they're doing it. They're destroying us. Here's another thing out in California that they're doing. They want to have a billionaires tax. It says California's wealth tax is only on billionaires. That's how the income tax started too, for only the 1% until it wasn't. When you allow the government to introduce new taxes, they never shrink, they only expand. It says the new tax, however, was very different from the Civil War income tax, which had exempted only the poor. The new one hit only the rich, imposing 2% tax on incomes above $4,000. Less than 1% of American households in 1894 met that threshold. Yeah, that's right. If you just make $4,000, so you're rich, $4,000. Most of us make that much in a month now. You see, they just inflated their way into taxing you. I'm just saying. If you live out in California, don't this billionaires tax will be a millionaire's tax, will be a thousandaires tax, will be if you have a W-2 tax. So they could give it all to the Somalians there in LA, and they can send it all to Somalia so they can fund the terrorists around the world. It's great. And of course, Act Blue. The everything. Oh, and Red Wave. Yeah. Red Wave is Act Blue for Republicans, if you didn't know. And here's another fraud.
Federal agents investigating a Somali immigrant operation that moved massive amounts of cash in suitcases from the Minneapolis airport to overseas have uncovered a new leg of that courier journey. Guess where it was? In the middle of America, Columbus, Ohio. That's right. Homeland Security Department officials told Just the News that Transportation Security Administration officers tracked and flagged about $136 million in bulk cash that was in outbound luggage at the passenger checkpoints at John Glenn Columbus International Airport just since November 2023. You know what? The Biden administration wasn't interested in asking what was going on. They just waved the cash through. The official said these transactions appear to have uncovered a massive cash movement operation that gathered money from multiple Somali immigrant communities, packaged it up, sent it to Minneapolis, where it would then be sent on flights overseas. It was essentially a foreign ATM cash machine. We're going to...
Oh, it's WinRed? I got it wrong? Okay. Somebody's saying it's WinRed for Republic. It's whatever. It's still a money laundering operation so that they can launder all this money they're getting from all of this rape and pillaging of the American people, and then they can give it to their WinRed or their Act Blue, which can give it to their politicians, which can then hire their wives to do the ad buy. So they get $10 million from the money laundering operation Act Blue. I'm talking about Bernie Sanders. And then he gives $10 million to his wife to buy ads, who spends $100,000 buying ads, and the rest of it goes to administrative costs. You see, because under campaign finance laws, which they created themselves, they can't spend that campaign money, but they can purchase ads from a corporation that buys the ads. They could then, because they ain't got time to do it all, who happens to be a family member. And that's fine. And once that money goes to the ad buyer corporation, then no questions can be asked. And Bernie Sanders gets a new house in the Hamptons and a Ferrari, because every good communist needs a bright red Ferrari. Yeah, that's the way it's done. And the Republicans do the same damn thing. They might not be buying a house in the Hamptons. They might be buying a house in Florida. They might not be getting a Ferrari. They might be getting a $100,000 Ford truck. That's the way they do it. Every single one of them is screwing us, except maybe Tim Burchett, who, by the way, flies home every weekend. Not like Eric Swalwell, who lives in a permanent residence in D.C., trying to run for governor of California when he's never lived in California in the last 15 years. Ask Marjorie Taylor Greene how she can afford her $1.9 million condo in D.C. Her too. Yep. One of the few, and I don't always agree with him, but one of the few, I believe, who will still be here this time next year.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. It was a little early this morning. I was headed to the gym and I was thinking this morning, hey brother, the constant argument is always when a bunch of us vote against this stuff, they say, oh, if we kill the bill, it'll shut the government down. They always back you up against the wall. And why the heck do we put it in there? We're the majority. The spending overseas, the funding of these rogue judges, these incredibly liberal organizations we know are just destroying our country. Why in the hell did we put this stuff in there? It's just ridiculous. And here we are spending the money. We're in the majority. And, and the leadership gives the left everything. It just doesn't make it. It's always that way. I don't care who's in power. And then they reward bad behavior, folks that are, that voted with the Democrats to give the insurance companies all this dadgum money. And once again, we're right back. It's just the same old deal, like when they put us up against the wall and say, oh, it's right at Christmas. It's just the same nonsense. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. We got to do what we said we're going to do. We funded a bunch of stuff the president did not want in there. And just thumbs our nose at him and the American people that sent us here to do better. We got to do better. Anyway, going to work out. Thank y'all for sending me here.
Tard says, respect the office, wear a tie. He's not at the office. He's at the gym. Give me a break. And as far as Marjorie Taylor Greene's company, she owns a company, does she? Her family owns a company. It's a family business. I'm just saying, I don't know how that works. Somebody asked, does she get government contracts? I bet she does, at least from the state of Georgia. All of them that are corrupt. Oh, you got to ask yourself a question. When it comes to Marjorie Taylor Greene, why did she quit? Why did she not finish out her term? It's because of her children. The Jews were trying to kill her children. That's what someone told me. As a sitting member of Congress, she gets $1 million a year and $10,000 a month for security. As a not sitting member of Congress, she doesn't get any of it. Yep. So you got to ask yourself, why did she quit? That's the question that I keep wanting to ask, is why in the world Why in the world did she quit in the middle of her term? 2-year term. She had till the 2027, and I don't have the answer. I mean, I really don't know. I don't know why she would do that, but I question it. I question it a lot because there's a lot of problems there. There's so much power, so much you get so much money for this benefit and that benefit and whatever. You get so much money for being a sitting member of Congress. Why in the world would you quit? Why would you walk away from that in the middle of a term? I can understand. I'm sick of it. I can understand that, but I don't understand why in the middle of the term. I don't know. Here's Gutfeld.
And next November. That is the greatest threat. I miss threat to democracy. So what's got them all hot and bothered? Trump joking to Reuters about the midterm elections, saying, quote, it's some deep psychological thing, but when you win the presidency, you don't win the midterms. When you think of it, we shouldn't even have an election. Carolyn blasting this weenie who didn't get the joke.
You said that he was joking about canceling the elections, but Americans for generations have fought and died for democracy, for this democracy. Are you saying that the president finds the idea of canceling elections funny?
Andrew, were you in the room? No, you weren't. I was in the room. I heard the conversation, and only someone like you would take that so seriously and pose it as a question that way.
So, Jesse, that guy's from The Independent, a British paper. And he is actually a weenie. And I hope that gets back to him. You know, people fought and died for the democracy. How dare you make a lighthearted joke that I'm deliberately deliberately mistakenly taking as serious?
That guy is such a nerd. People like that, I mean, that's why we hate the media. They're just nerds. Lighten up. He's not canceling anything. He's endorsing people. He's giving them money. Susie told him he had to go out and campaign, and he was like annoyed about it, but he has to do it. This is why the Democrats have no credibility, Greg, is because everything they predict is wrong. Remember global warming? Mm-hmm. We're supposed to be underwater here in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. They said Trump was going to cause World War III and a recession. Stock market's up. I haven't seen a lot of war here, at least. They said democracy was going to die if the Republicans took the House last time. We took it. The only one who died was Kevin McCarthy. I haven't seen him. Is he still around?
Yeah. He is.
Still around. Got it. This is like what you said in the A block. These are feces fastballs. Okay? No one believes it. They just throw it out there because they think their voters are that dumb.
Yeah.
And are they, Harold? Are they?
So this guy says, let me back that up a little bit. This guy, I guess I got something to say.
Joking about canceling the elections, but Americans for generations have fought and died for democracy, for this democracy. Are you saying
Bernie Sanders, Marine, I ask you, did you fight and die for democracy? Well, you didn't die, but did you fight for anybody else that served? You can answer this question. Did you serve for democracy? Not a single soldier from 1776 onward has fought and died for democracy. Nobody. Our founding fathers hated democracy. They knew that democracies failed. No, we fought and died for a republic for which it stands. One nation under God. That's what we fought for. We fought for our brothers and sisters. That's what we fought for. That's the problem with this moron. Democracy. I want to just slap the snot out of every one of these stupid, pompous ignoramuses with their educations because you didn't serve, sir. I guarantee it. Because you would know the difference between a republic and a democracy. Idiot. Do you know who loves democracy? Do you know who loves, they just love democracy for the people. Oh, the people need to have democracy. Democracy, democracy, democracy. You know, the ones that said, I don't care who you vote for as long as you vote for the people we say you can vote for. Democracy. That's right. Joseph Stalin loved democracy. Loved Mao Zedong. Loved democracy. Just loved it. You get to vote. You get to vote. There's only one candidate. It's me. Saddam Hussein loved democracy. They had votes all the time. Saddam Hussein would win 99.999% of the vote, and the one that didn't vote for him would get executed. But democracy. We are not a democracy. We have never been a democracy. We are a constitutional representative republic, a nation of laws, not men. What does that mean? They say it all the time and they have no idea what it means. It means we're not a democracy where mob rule wins. Everybody votes for it. You win. No, we're a nation of laws. It's the reason why we have an electoral college. It's the reason why Nancy Pelosi and Chucky Schumer and AOC and Rashid Tlaib and Ilhan Omar want to get rid of the electoral college. Because it doesn't allow for democracy. It limits the power of the crowd. It gives a voice to the minority. It slows the process and allows constitutional law an opportunity. That's the reason they want to get rid of it. We're a nation of laws, not men. The law should apply equally, except in Tina Peters' case and others. It should apply equally across this country, across this great land. It should be the same for everybody, but it's not because of democracy. Democracy. We got to fight for democracy. You know, that woman that in the beginning of the show, if you didn't miss the beginning of the show, you should go watch the beginning of the show. That woman that was protesting with her kitchen appliances attached to her, she's fighting for democracy. You know, this one here, see, she's got her armor plate on here. It's the broiler plate from her oven. Democracy. She's fighting for people's rights. We got to allow these people to come into this country. Why do they want the people to come into this country? Because they're trying to get around the republic part and institute the democracy part, because the census counts everybody, which gives more seats to Illinois, more seats to California, more seats to Minneapolis. That's the point. I wonder if she cleaned that thing up before she started wearing it, or is it a new one? Lord have mercy. We are in a very interesting time right now. Very interesting time. And things are about to really bust wide open. There's something's about to happen today, tomorrow, this weekend, next week. I don't know when it is. Something's about to happen that's going to flip the script. Let me tell you something else, too. Pay attention to. So it's been prophesied. Mike will attest to these things. It's been prophesied that it's going to get violent. They're going to start shooting at law enforcement. They're going to set up like sniper nests. And then as first responders come in, then you're going to get more snipers, more explosions. It's going to be pretty bad. And I'm convinced now, watching this stuff right here, that it's going to be these transient women, these lesbian Karens, these And they're going to be trained, by the way. They're going to be trained by NED, the National Endowment for Democracy. At least they'll fund it. They're going to be trained in Somalian terrorist camps on how to carry out these type of, because just running headlong into the pepper spray and the pepper balls doesn't work out for the Pats here. Mike says Trump needs a real insurrection. I think Donald Trump right now they're just sprinkling. You got Stephen Miller going insurrection. This is just to be. Donald Trump will not institute the Insurrection Act until we're begging for it, till the media is, just like he did with the Epstein. He came out and he said Epstein's a hoax, and he had all those Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene and the rest and all the Democrats and all the media. Epstein. Where are they today? Where Thomas Massey? Have you said anything about Epstein since Christmas? Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why have you dropped the subject? I thought it was for the victims. We got to protect the victims. It's for the victims. How come nobody's saying a damn thing about Epstein as the Clintons decide they just ain't going to show up to the subpoena? Nobody wants to talk about Epstein. But Donald Trump had them begging for Epstein, had them standing out on the Capitol steps with the women begging, give me Epstein or give me death. And now their mum's the word. Why? Because they knew that the Epstein files that come out of the Southern District of New York, the ones that they wanted released, were the ones kept by James Comey's daughter, ones kept by the deep state, and all of the bad stuff, all the stuff where these people had been partaking has been taken out, and Donald Trump had been added in every which way they can. They knew that. That's why they wanted it. And then the DOJ on Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas, everybody, announced that, golly Shazam, by golly gee willikers, we was in the back room by the dumpster, and we opened up a box and Shazam, there's a million more Epstein files that nobody knew about. And since then, not a word. How come they're not screaming them? Where's those million Epstein files? How come they're not talking about that? You want to know why? Because those are the juicy ones. Those are the ones that they tried to hide in a burn bag that didn't get burned, because God is good all the time, and all the time he's good. These people, Donald Trump needs them to beg for the Insurrection Act the same way they were begging for Epstein. And they're going to get it. They'll do everything in their power to rile up the people, because they want Donald Trump to say Insurrection Act, and then they're going to flip this thing and they're going to say Donald Trump's a dictator, he's trying to take over, cancel the elections, and all the stuff that they know they're going to say. That's what the point is. They're trying to instigate him to they want him to do the Insurrection Act before the election. But before the election, the American people will be screaming. The media will be screaming. The Democrats and the Republicans in the House and the Senate will be begging for the Insurrection Act because of the violence. Because when you sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind. And the whirlwind is coming. The storm is coming. It's going to be, it's a trap, but it's a counter trap too. Because Donald Trump, he's going to do the Insurrection Act, and then he's going to drop the hammer on all of these politicians. That million Epstein stuff, how the money went to Somalia and it came right back here to Nancy Pelosi, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How our entire government is one big shill. Just watch as this thing unfolds. This Donald Trump, I said this before, this presidency is not like the first presidency. Donald Trump is pissed off, but he's also patient, and he's willing to wait. He's willing to put everything where it needs to be. And when he's done hammering these people, they won't be a viable political entity when they're done, if they're even on the planet anymore. Some will get arrested, some will not, some will make deals, some will not. Many of them will self-deport, the planet or the country, whichever comes first. Mark my words, write that down. It's going to be Donald Trump. He says it all the time. His book, The Art of the Deal, is a business version of The Art of War. You go in, you keep it completely secret until the time comes. And then you attack with the fury that you can muster. You win the war, and then you attack. Kind of like what he did in Venezuela. Boy, he head faked, kind of like he did when they bombed Iran. He head faked everybody's panicking and going this way and going that way. He had Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, and Rand Paul. My God, their children are going to die. And then, boom, over. Suckers. It's going to happen. Get ready for it. You know how I know? God said. You know how I know? God said. That's how I know. That's how I know. And they fiddle around and fiddle around and fiddle around. And they've been, the graph, they're out there on the edges off the paper as they're fiddling around. And we are now entering to find out. Anyways, you guys have a great day. It's the weekend. Take the weekend off. Turn the TV off. If there's something going on, go to my Telegram page. You guys have a great day. Patriot Mike. Hey, don't forget to try my products. You guys need to lose a few pounds before summer. This is the stuff. This is the stuff right here. PatriotMikeShow@gmail.com. Patriot Mike is out.